Something big is happening with money, but you won't see it leading the nightly news. It's a quiet, profound shift that is actively changing the value of every single dollar you earn and save. You've probably heard people talk about the great wealth transfer. They're usually talking about the colossal sum of money, somewhere between 84 trillion and 124 trillion, that baby boomers will pass on to their kids over the next couple of decades. And don't get me wrong, that's a massive deal, but it's not the transfer I'm here to talk about. See, there's another more immediate transfer of wealth happening right now. This one isn't from grandma to grandson. It's from one type of money to another. It's a silent stampede of smart capital, moving away from a financial system that's quietly bleeding out and rushing toward a new class of assets built for the world we live in today. This is the story of currency debasement, a hidden tax that's draining your money's purchasing power. It's the story of how money itself is being redefined right before our eyes. And most importantly, it's the story of the debasement trade, the single most important investment strategy of our time, and how a new digital gold is set to capture a historic flow of capital. To get the scale of what's happening, just think about this. Since the US officially cut ties with the gold standard in 1971, the US dollar has lost at least 87% of its purchasing power. Some calculations put that number even higher, closer to a staggering 98%. Let that sink in for a second. The dollars in your bank account, the money you trade your time for every single day, buy a tiny fraction of what they used to. And here's the kicker. This isn't a glitch in the system. It's a feature of modern government-issued currency. While most people are getting silently poorer from inflation, a small but growing group of investors sees exactly what's happening. They're not just watching, they are actively participating in the debasement trade. Today, I'm going to show you what this trade is, pull back the curtain on the forces that make it so necessary, and explain how a revolutionary digital asset, Bitcoin, is becoming the ultimate solution. It's a lifeboat in an ocean of sinking currencies and maybe, just maybe, the foundation of a new financial world. Before we get to the solution, you need to understand just how deep the problem runs. The very foundation of our global financial system, the US dollar and other government-backed fiat currencies, is engineered to lose value. This process is called currency debasement, and it's speeding up. The word debasement sounds old because it is. It's what Roman emperors did when they started mixing cheap metals like copper into their gold and silver coins. They could mint more coins to fund their armies and lavish lifestyles. The coins looked the same, but they were worth less. It was a sneaky way to rob the public. The modern version is just a bit more high tech. Instead of shaving silver off a coin, central banks and governments just create new money from thin air. They do it to pay for government spending, bail out corporations, and try to stimulate the economy. But every new dollar, euro, or yen they print dilutes the value of all the ones you already have. It's like trying to feed more people by adding water to the soup. The soup just gets weaker for everyone. The numbers are genuinely mind-boggling. As of late 2025, the US national debt has rocketed past $37 trillion. To put that in perspective, in the 2 years between January 2023 and January 2025, the debt limit alone had to be raised to accommodate trillions in new borrowing. This isn't just a number on a screen, it's a guarantee of two things: future taxes and, more immediately, future money printing. We saw this play out in real time after 2020. The US M2 money supply, that's a broad measure of all the money in the system, exploded from about 15.5 trillion to nearly 21.7 trillion in just over 2 years. That's a 40% increase in the supply of dollars. While that fire hose of printing has slowed down, we are all living with the aftershock: stubborn inflation and a cost of living that keeps climbing. And this isn't just an American issue, it's a global sickness. The European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, they're all playing the same game. They're stuck in a debt trap with a currency they can print. The temptation to just print more to solve their problems is too strong to resist. It's a global race to the bottom, and every major currency is losing the race. This is the core of the problem. The money you think is safe and sound in your bank account, it's sitting on a melting block of ice. If you're starting to see how the game is rigged, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps get this video out to more people who need to hear this. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. So, what does all this talk about debt and money supply actually mean for you? It means your wealth is being stolen slowly and silently. You're being charged a hidden tax, and that tax has a name: inflation. We're taught to think inflation is just prices going up, but that's just the symptom. The real disease is currency debasement. Prices aren't going up, the value of your dollar is going down. That $100 you worked hard for and saved 5 years ago doesn't buy $100 worth of stuff anymore. Today, it might only buy you $80 worth. So where did that other $20 in buying power go? It was transferred. It was taken from savers and wage earners and handed to those who own assets and stand closest to the money printer: governments, giant corporations, and the financial elite. This is the harsh reality of our financial system. The wealthy don't sit on piles of cash. They know it's a losing game. They own things that go up with inflation: stocks, real estate, and now a new breed of digital assets. When the central bank fires up the printing press, people who own these assets see their net worth explode. Meanwhile, the person working a 9 to 5 and trying to stash a little cash in a savings account gets hammered. Their savings are worth less every day, and their paycheck never seems to stretch as far as it used to. It's a system that actively funnels wealth from the middle class to the very top. The game is rigged. You might think you're playing it safe with a high yield savings account or government bonds, but let's be real. The interest you make is almost always lower than the real rate of inflation. You are losing purchasing power, guaranteed. And bonds, the old school safe haven? In a world of runaway government debt and high inflation, buying a long term government bond is like buying a ticket for a guaranteed loss of wealth. The very assets we were told were safe are now the sources of certain decay. Cash is trash. A savings account is a bucket with a hole in it. This isn't about spreading fear, it's about facing financial reality. The system is designed to push you into taking more and more risk, forcing you to become a speculator just to keep your head above water. So, if cash is a liability and the old safe havens are broken, where is smart money going to protect itself? This brings us to the only logical answer. When you realize the system you're in is broken, the only smart move is to look for an exit. For a growing wave of investors, from hedge fund billionaires to regular folks, that exit is something called the debasement trade. Now, the debasement trade isn't some complicated strategy. It's a simple, powerful idea. You sell what is being created in infinite amounts, and you buy what is scarce. You get your wealth out of fiat currencies and into hard assets, assets that can't be printed out of thin air. This is nothing new. For thousands of years, gold was the ultimate hard asset. It's been a trusted store of value because it's rare, it's durable, and everyone agrees it's valuable. No king or central bank can just print more gold. So when people lose faith in paper money, they run to gold. We're seeing it happen right now, as gold's price reflects investor demand for a safe harbor from currency devaluation. This is a flashing signal that the debasement trade is on. But we're not in the Roman Empire anymore. While gold is a fantastic analog store of value, it has its limits in a digital world. It's a pain to store, it's expensive to move, and it's slow to verify. You can't exactly email a gold bar to someone across the planet in a few minutes. This is where the debasement trade gets a 21st century upgrade. This is where Bitcoin enters the picture. Bitcoin is the modern answer to the ancient problem of currency debasement. They call it digital gold for a very good reason. It takes all the best qualities of gold and supercharges them for the internet age. First, and most critically, is its absolute scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Ever. This isn't just a promise, it's hardwired into the code and enforced by a global network of computers that no one controls. No government, no CEO, not even Bitcoin's mysterious creator can change that number. Compare that to the US dollar, where the supply is expanded whenever a politician gets nervous. Bitcoin's fixed supply is what makes it so revolutionary. Second, it's decentralized. Bitcoin isn't owned or operated by any single person or company. This makes it the first truly sovereign asset the world has ever seen. A government can freeze your bank account, they can seize your property. But as long as you control your private keys, nobody can take your Bitcoin without your permission. It's property rights secured by math. Third, it's portable and divisible. You can hold $1 billion worth of Bitcoin on a device the size of your thumb, or even just by memorizing a 12-word phrase. You can send any amount from a penny to billions of dollars anywhere on Earth 24/7 without asking for permission, and for a tiny fraction of the cost of the old financial system. Bitcoin is the perfect vehicle for the debasement trade. It is a monetary life raft in a sea of currencies all taking on water. It is an escape hatch from a system programmed to steal your time and your energy. This isn't just a cool theory. The flood of capital into Bitcoin is happening right now, and it's getting faster. The proof isn't in what people are saying, it's in what the world's biggest and most powerful financial institutions are doing. For years, Wall Street laughed at Bitcoin. Now they're falling all over themselves to buy it. The game changed in early 2024 with the launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs. These are regulated products that let anyone, from giant institutions to everyday investors, buy Bitcoin as easily as buying a stock. The result has been an institutional stampede. BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on the planet, launched its own Bitcoin ETF, IBIT. In a move that shocked the financial world, some reports in late 2024 showed that BlackRock's brand new Bitcoin fund had already attracted more assets than its own gold fund, which has been around for nearly 2 decades. The Bitcoin ETF became one of the fastest growing ETFs in history. This isn't some fringe movement. This is the heart of the establishment finally admitting that Bitcoin is a legitimate global asset. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, once a huge skeptic, now calls Bitcoin digital gold and a flight to safety. He sees what's happening. In a world of geopolitical chaos and out of control government debt, people are desperate for an alternative. The demand from these new ETFs has been absolutely relentless. On many days, the demand for Bitcoin from these Wall Street products has been several times higher than the new supply of Bitcoin being created. Some analyses in late 2025 showed institutions were buying Bitcoin at a rate 7.4 times greater than it was being mined. When demand obliterates new supply, there's only one way for the price to go. This supply shock is a huge reason Bitcoin has smashed through all-time highs in 2025, surging past $125,000. And this is a global phenomenon. In countries like Argentina, Turkey, and Nigeria, places that have been absolutely wrecked by hyperinflation, people have been using Bitcoin for years to survive. For them, Bitcoin isn't a risky bet. It's a lifeline. It's how they protect their family's savings from being turned into worthless paper by their own governments. What we are all witnessing is the birth of a new global asset. It is a quiet, peaceful protest against the debasement of money. The big institutions are just now waking up to it, but the movement was started by individuals who simply wanted to protect what was theirs. So let's put it all together. The global financial system built on government paper money is broken by design. It is programmed to lose value through a process called currency debasement, a hidden tax that bleeds your savings and your salary dry year after year. The smart money is waking up. From the world's largest investment firms to individuals who are paying attention, they're all making the debasement trade. They are selling assets that can be printed to infinity, like the dollar, and buying assets that are verifiably scarce. For centuries, that asset was gold. But in our digital world, a better, more powerful alternative has emerged: Bitcoin. With its absolute scarcity, decentralized structure, and internet native design, Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value for an era of monetary chaos. The wave of institutional money we're seeing now isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the next chapter. The Bitcoin ETFs have opened the gates for trillions more dollars to pour into this asset in the coming years. You are not too late. The very fact you're watching this puts you way ahead of the curve. But the window of opportunity to get in before the entire herd thunders through is closing. This is more than just another investment. It's a chance to opt out of a system that's failing and secure your wealth in a new one. The greatest wealth transfer in history is the one you choose to be a part of. To help you get started, I've put together a free guide called the Digital Gold Playbook. It walks you through the simple, essential steps to safely buy and secure your first piece of Bitcoin. The link is right down in the description. It's my gift to you for taking the time to educate yourself. Thanks for watching. Don't just let the future happen to you. Go out and be part of building it.